Well, I think what sets me apart is the state where I come from. I mean, this is hand-to-hand combat every day. And it's a Democratic legislature who is fighting you all the time, who you have to learn how to bring in and to craft compromise. And in red states, they don't have a lot of experience in doing that, Matt. I know how to do that.
New Jersey Governor Chris Christie on NBC's Today Show discussing his experience as governor and why it makes him, in his opinion, the best presidential candidate. Of course, Christie is the latest GOP hopeful to announce the 8th governor to enter this presidential race, but is a governor truly the best choice in 2016? Joining us for more, political analyst Dick Morris, who checks in from Newsmax, Washington. Of course, Dick is also the co-author of Power Grab, Obama's Dangerous Plan for a One-Party Nation. Dick, it's great to have you back here on Newsmax Prime. 8 governors, 14 candidates at last count. Do the governors have a leg up in terms of executive experience?
Well, yeah, sure they do. But in a political campaign, the governors have one huge advantage over the senators, and that is that they might lose. Because if a governor loses and he remains as governor, he has the power to punish and reward those who do and don't give him campaign contributions. And money from your home state, which is much more interested in a governor than a senator. Senator is one vote. Governor runs the state. And all those contracts, all those goodies. So a governor has a tremendous advantage because he might lose. Now, a former governor like Perry no longer has that option, so it's not important. But with Christie, if he's defeated, he's still the governor of New Jersey. Same with Scott Walker in Wisconsin. The disadvantage governors have is they're not used to handling national issues. They're not used to addressing issues in the round, 360 degrees. When Scott Walker was fighting the unions in Wisconsin and pushing through the boldest and most important education reform in American history since the invention of the public school system, nobody was going to ask him about gay marriage as he stepped over the people sitting in the rotunda. He could set the agenda by his own actions and his own proposals. But a senator can't set his agenda. It's set outside of his control. And therefore, he has to be prepared to answer everything. And when it comes to debates and it comes to Q&A on the campaign trails, many governors fall short, but few senators do.
And yet, historically, when you take a look at senators going directly from the United States Senate to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, only 3, Warren G. Harding, John F. Kennedy, and Barack Obama. It has been a historical rarity for senators to move up to the presidency. Why do you think, at least in recent history, governors have ended up there more than senators?
Well, when you go back in history, it's because governors controlled the state delegations, and they were not chosen through primaries. They were chosen by the bosses, usually the same bosses that backed the governor in the first place. In terms of recent history, you know, you have Reagan was the governor of California. That counts for quite a bit. And I'm not sure that Clinton was the governor of Arkansas. Did you list Clinton on that list? I didn't hear him.
No, I was just going with exclusive senators back in the day. But I think you're making the point.
Oh, well, your list was senators. Yeah,
yes,
right.
But
sorry, but governors have a big advantage because they're well known in their state, and usually that's a significant state. And certainly in a primary process it is. And overall, I would rather see a governor run than a senator run as a consultant because he'd be easier to elect because he has more money. Because again, it's not, when you have 15 guys running for president and Hillary waiting around the corner, you're not going to give a lot of money betting on somebody winning. It's way too early for that. 16-way field, maybe Bush, but nobody else. But with a governor, if he loses and you were his biggest backer when he ran for president, hey, you're going to have a good 2 years.
Of course, people want to win. Chris Christie jumping into the race. His slogan, telling it like it is. Now, some have said Christie's a bit of a loose cannon. He was going Jersey on people at his New Jersey town halls. What about his temperament? What about Christie's prospects in the upcoming primaries?
Well, I'm going to take Christie at his word and tell it like it is. If it were not for Chris Christie, Barack Obama would have been defeated and Mitt Romney elected president. His virtual endorsement of Obama a few days after Hurricane Sandy hit, a few days before the election, was partially to help his state, but partially a cynical political strategy to get himself reelected by posing as a bipartisan governor, having run in this term as a heavily partisan person, enough to be the keynoter at the Republican convention. And when he embraced Obama that day, Obama jumped in the polling and got elected. So that's what I think about Chris Christie. He's running in the wrong party.
Well, now, he would say, and of course in his rollout the other day, he talked about compromise. Now, some of us in Washington define compromise as Republicans caving in to what the Democrats and their cheerleaders and the mainstream media want to see happen. 30 seconds. Is the compromise a feather in his cap, so to speak?
No, it was in Jersey because he was able to overcome his image of being too partisan, and it gave him some good national publicity. But most Republicans keep score, and most Republicans understand that this was one of the great acts of apostasy in the history of our party.
So, the picture with Obama and that embrace might be the embrace of defeat in Republican primaries for the presidency. Dick Morris, as always, we very much appreciate your insights and analysis. We'll see what happens.
Be uncommitted on this, but
okay, fair enough. By the way, you can get your copy of the best-selling book, Power Grab, co-authored by Dick Morris along with his bride, and you can get it at powergrab411.com. There's more ahead as we continue.